You may have seen the movie, or at least the publicity. You may have seen it, little clips of it, in the nominations for the Oscars. You may not know, but you may not know what I'm talking about. Hilary Swank starred in, I think it was 2010, Conviction, actually based on a true story. The man, Kenny Waters, served in total 18 years for robbery turned murder that he didn't commit. And it took his sister, who, with her children, with her marriage, put almost everything aside, put herself through college and law school in order to serve as his defense, to get him out. And in the end, she worked with the Innocence Project. And if it hadn't been for both of those things, he would have died in prison. Now, the definition and causes of wrongful imprisonment is the more widely known term, along with the Innocence Project statistics and chief tool exoneration, which is DNA testing, all feed into the latter's reason for being. So, yes. And so, wrongful imprisonment, it's sort of two halves of a whole. And so, there's first of all wrongful conviction, in which the person who wasn't the actual perpetrator is still convicted of the crime, and then jailed, which is called incarceration. And then the other half is when it continues, like appeals don't work, nothing else works, and they really stay in there for years, sometimes even die there. And why is it? There are 6 main causes. The Innocence Project has listed the 6 most common causes, but I'm not going to go into all of them because they all have their own little details, but the main one is eyewitness misidentification. And I think most of it is, well actually this is sort of half what I'm going to say, and then half sort of misconduct by the police and prosecutors, because it's just a matter of people look alike and people's memories aren't crystal clear. And so when people think they remember a person, or a car, or colors, they don't actually remember it like they think they remember. They didn't actually look that way when they saw it. And so they pick somebody out who looks like that person, and that person is the one who goes to jail because there is no evidence proving that they're not the one. So for lack of anything else, they go with that person, something like that. Sometimes the police just need a suspect, or sometimes they honestly think that this person did it, and so they'll actually put that person in there and like sort of very slightly nudge the person to choose that person. Sometimes they'll play little tricks, like they show the person for 5 seconds. They do really bad things. Like it's not that they're evil, it's just that they honestly think that this person did it, so they just want to get this person into jail. So they do these little tricks. And the other one is they do things like they put a black and white photo because they can't find anything else of one suspect in a lineup with all color photos. And so for actually nothing else, the person will choose that person with the black and white photo just because they stand out. Not because of the actual memory, not because they actually think that that was the person who did it. So it really is, it's a lot of reasons, but eyewitness misidentification is a really big thing. I could just go on about that. It's really not, it's really one of the worst, actually, pieces of evidence like you can use at a trial. So these are some of the statistics, and so the Innocence Project is a very good website, and so they have a little number at the top. So as of March 2012, I checked this morning, there are 289 people who were exonerated. Now the thing started in, I think, 1989, which was, I assume, there was some case that was the landmark for when some person was the very first to have been exonerated because of DNA testing. Now, I'll just go through this very quickly. Average time served is 13 years. So, literally when they put them all together, all the people who were exonerated, out of all the time that they'd spent in jail for that thing that they hadn't done, 13 years overall out of the 289. So imagine up and down. And disproportionately is the word that they used. A lot of people are the ones in the minority groups, and 99% are male. I just didn't want to put that. It seemed weird to me, but and so what is it? And 40% of successful exoneration cases. So that means that when they actually not retried the person, but not retried, but when they exonerated the person and they actually looked at the facts, they actually found, oh, here's another suspect, and if they did a legal investigation, they realized that was the person. So half the time, what was that, 2 out of 5, there was a happy ending to the story, besides the exoneration. What was this? Oh. And so it really is just a matter of people who, you know, was it minority background, they already don't have people, they don't have money for lawyers, they don't have connections, they don't have anyone for them. And so if they don't have anyone, and the cards are just stacked against them, what? Oh God, really? Okay, so this is just, oh, that sucks. So, DNA testing, I don't know if you know this, but back in the day, they used to use blood type. That was actually Kenny Waters' thing. His blood type was, I think, O, and the perpetrators was blood type O, and so that was the best evidence they had against him. And so once they discovered DNA, this was it was developed in the 80s, and so then it started in the 90s. That was when they realized, we can definitively prove this person was not the perpetrator. And so, I really just, sucks. And so it really is a simple process. It's just that the reagents are expensive because I think they can't be reused. So it's an expensive process, but it's like $2,000 a test or something. But it is a very simple process. It's very definitive, there's no bias. It's like if the defense pays for it, or if the prosecution pays for it, it's not going to be biased either way because it is science. It's not a person doing it. Like, it's not the person's opinion. It's just the facts. That is or isn't the person, and it's mathematically definitive in terms of, literally, the chances are, I think, 1 in terms of billions of it being someone else. Like fingerprints, I don't know, it's like thousands or hundreds of thousands. DNA is much, much, much more definitive, and that's what I love about it. What is it? That when I say that Kenny Waters died, they didn't put this in the movie. He died 6 months after exoneration. That means that he spent, I think it was, he died at 47. So he spent pretty much a third of his life in jail for something that he didn't do. And so a lot of these people are married. A lot of these people had children. They weren't there to spend that time with their spouses. They didn't raise their children, the children that they wanted to raise, because not of their own fault, because not through their own fault, but because something else happened that held them up, that put their lives on hold indefinitely. Some of them have died in that. And so those are people. And so it's not about the DNA. It's not about, oh, let's prove someone wrong. It's not about. Some of it is about reform for the process so that there are less wrongful incarcerations. But it's about helping these people out, because they really shouldn't be in there. And it's just a matter of, it's just a bit of work to get them out. It's a matter of lawyers. It's a matter of DNA people. It's a matter of people who are willing to put their lives into this to help others. It's not about this, like, it's not this technical thing. It's just a social thing more than anything else. And so it's the thing of networking. And so this is very nice. As a forensic science major, like, this is really what I want to do. DNA is my thing. And so I just really want to, if anything, I would dedicate my life to this, because that's all I can offer. And so this is, do I have 25 seconds? 29 seconds? Okay. This is very good. I shouldn't have run over too much. There is no sound. There's no sound. Oh. Point being, she did her own thing. She did her own publicity for the Innocence Project, which she didn't actually have to do. She did that a wrong way. And they have their Facebook, their Twitter. It is a thing about getting out the word, because once you get out the word, people can help other people, because it's just a matter of numbers. It's a matter of numbers of people who can do this, because if there are only about 5 people, they only have a caseload of so-and-so. If you have more people, you can help. More people, you can stop. You know, you can help correct the wrong. I don't know about time. I'm sorry. I don't know.